Good. You made it. Yeah, you. The one they whispered about. The one they tried to hex, curse, sabotage, bury, cancel, isolate, mentally break. And somehow you're still sitting here breathing like it's just another day. Let's talk about that. Because right now, they're shaking. You defeated a whole gang of witches like a one-man army, and you still don't even realize what you did. You know what's funny? They didn't come at you like villains in a movie. No pointy hats, no broomsticks, no neon sign that said, "Witch here." They came as friends who low-key hated you, family who didn't clap when you won, supporters who only support you as long as you stay below them, spiritual people who used God, energy, vibes, whatever word they liked, as a weapon, not a path. Little comments, little digs, little jokes that cut a little too deep. You weren't paranoid, you were surrounded. Let's call it what it is. Witchcraft isn't just candles and weird symbols. It's manipulation, it's control. It's people trying to bend your reality so you think less of yourself, so you don't move, so you don't grow, so you stay small, because your growth threatens their illusion of power. And you were the perfect target at first. You had a heart. You had empathy. You wanted peace. You wanted everyone to be okay. That's the funny thing about people like you. You show up with open hands, and they see open targets. Let me ask you something. How many times did you feel crazy for noticing the shift? You felt it when they stopped inviting you but kept posting. Your name came up in rooms you weren't in. People you never hurt suddenly went cold. Your success made the room go quiet instead of loud. You felt that pressure in your chest, that anxiety, that confusion like, did I do something wrong? Did I change? Am I the problem? That was the spell. Confusion is a spell. Self-doubt is a spell. The constant guilt they fed you, that was a spell. And every time you apologized for existing, you were bowing to their altar. But something snapped, didn't it? Not in one big dramatic movie moment. It was slow. A build-up. One fake smile too many. One betrayal too deep. One "I'm fine" too heavy. Then one day you just went, "Nah, I'm done." That was the moment the war shifted, because you didn't just move on. You broke formation. You stopped dancing to their little manipulation choreography. And that is when they realized, you're not a victim, you're a problem. You want to know why they're shaking right now? Because they threw everything at you that should have destroyed you. The character assassination, the lies, the gaslighting, the guilt trips, the smear campaigns in private group chats, the subtle spiritual attacks, praying against you, not for you, sending envy with a smile, and somehow, you're still rising, you're still evolving, you're still getting ideas, you're still getting opportunities that weren't even supposed to be yours. You were supposed to crumble, you were supposed to disappear, you were supposed to be sitting somewhere crying, feeling unworthy, stalking their page, wondering why you're not enough. Instead, you leveled up. Let's talk about that one-man army thing for a second. Because people hear that and think, you mean I fought everyone and won? No, it's deeper. Being a one-man army means you learned how to sit alone without losing your mind. You had conversations with yourself that were uglier than any argument. You started healing trauma instead of just reacting from it. You confronted your own toxic patterns instead of blaming everything on them. You went to war with your overthinking, your need for approval, your people-pleasing, your fear of abandonment, your addiction to fixing broken people, your obsession with being liked. You didn't just fight them, you fought you. And that is why they lost. See, a gang of witches is strong when you're weak inside. When you're insecure, their words control you. When you're desperate for love, their attention controls you. When you're scared to be alone, their presence controls you. They work like this. I don't need to chain your body. I just need to chain your mind. So they teach you to second-guess every decision, make you feel guilty for having boundaries, mock your dreams so you don't chase them, overreact when you pull away so you come running back. And then you did the impossible. You stopped caring about being liked more than being free. You started saying, "No, I'm not comfortable with that. No, I don't have to explain myself. No, I'm not lowering my standards. No, I'm not ignoring how you made me feel." Witches hate boundaries. Manipulators hate when their favorite puppet has scissors. Let's be honest, walking away looked weak to them. They laughed. They said, "Oh, they're acting brand new now." They told people they changed, they're fake, they think they're better than everyone. Of course they said that. You stopped being their doormat. Suddenly you're arrogant. What they didn't realize was this. You weren't walking away in defeat. You were walking away in armor. There's power in silence. There's power in leaving group chats quietly. There's power in not clapping back, not posting subliminals, not arguing your innocence to people committed to misunderstanding you. You know how scary you are when you master silence. You know how dangerous you become when you stop trying to prove anything and just let your life speak. That's one-man army energy, no backup, no crowd. Just you, your mind, your spirit, your mission. Let us go deeper. Think about all the times you almost went back. You almost texted. You almost apologized for having boundaries. You almost downplayed your win to make them comfortable. You almost pretended you didn't see what you saw. That internal tug of war, that's spiritual warfare. Part of you knew, if I go back, I'll be safe, but I'll be dead inside. So you stayed away, even when it hurt. You stayed solid, even when you were lonely. You chose peace over familiarity. Do you understand how strong that makes you? Most people go back to their chains because the silence is too loud. But you sat with it. You sat with the emptiness. You sat with the confusion. You sat with the anger. And somewhere in the middle of all that sitting alone, your mind started to clear. You began to see the patterns. Wait, every time something good happens to me, that person distances themselves. Every time I set a boundary, that person plays the victim. Every time I show vulnerability, they use it later in an argument. Every time I talk about my dreams, they throw in a little negativity disguised as realism. Suddenly what felt like love looked a lot like control. You went from, "Why don't they love me?" to, "Why was I calling that love?" That's when the spell cracked. And once a spell cracks, it can't hold you the same way. You started doing scary things. Blocking numbers without writing essays, muting people you secretly envied so you could heal instead of hate, saying no without a paragraph, leaving messages on read when they tried to bait you back into chaos. You started protecting your energy like your life depended on it, because it does, and they felt it. Suddenly they're confused. Why are they so distant? Why aren't they reacting? Why aren't they trying to fix things this time? Because you finally realized you're not a therapist. You're not a rehab center. You're not an emotional punching bag. You're not a charity case for broken people who refuse to change. You are the storm they pretended you weren't. Here's the truth they will never admit out loud. They didn't just want you small, they wanted you dependent. They wanted you to come to them for validation, run to them for advice, need them emotionally, financially, spiritually. Look up to them like they were your savior. And then you started standing up on your own feet. You got stronger. You learned things. You made progress. You grew a spine, then a voice, then a standard. They got scared because suddenly you weren't asking, what do you think of me? You were asking, what do I think of myself? That's witchcraft's worst enemy, self-awareness. You didn't defeat a gang of witches by throwing spells back. You didn't need to light 300 candles, chant in 7 languages, or send hate. Your power wasn't in revenge. You beat them by doing the one thing they never expected. You healed. You forgave, not to let them back in, but so they couldn't live rent-free in your head. You did your shadow work. You faced your childhood wounds. You started noticing what triggers you and why. You turned your pain into data. You turned your tears into strategy. You turned your loneliness into self-discovery. And when you heal, the old hooks don't hook the same. They try the same tricks. Guilt, shame, silent treatment, jealousy games, third-party drama. And for the first time in your life, you feel nothing. No pull, no panic, no rush to fix it. Just clarity. That's why they're shaking, because the version of you they knew is gone. The version that over-explained, over-gave, overstayed, over-listened, over-loved people who under-respected you. You killed that version, slowly, painfully, intentionally, and in its place, you built someone terrifying, someone who can sit alone, someone who can lose people and not lose themselves. Someone who can walk away from the table when respect is no longer being served. Someone who chooses sanity over drama every single time. You know how hard it is to control someone like that. Exactly. Let's talk about power for a second. Real power is not loudness, flexing, revenge posts, subliminal quotes aimed at them. Real power is when you're so aligned, so anchored, so connected to who you are, that they lose access to your emotions. When they can't trigger you like before. When they can't predict your reactions. When they can't hook you into arguing. They start spiraling. If I can't control you, I have to destroy how people see you. So they start telling stories. They start painting you as the villain. They twist your silence into arrogance, your boundaries into selfishness, your growth into, they changed up. Let them talk. You didn't come here to win the public opinion poll. You came here to win your life back. Look at you. You're still worried you're too much or too cold now. You're not. You're just not allowing spiritual, emotional, or mental abuse to wear glitter anymore. You don't fall for, I was just joking. You're too sensitive. Why are you bringing up old stuff? You're crazy. That never happened. We're family. You're supposed to forgive. You remember what was said. You remember how it made you feel. You remember how they moved when you were at your lowest. Your memory is your shield now, not your burden. You're not bitter. You're aware. Understand this, you walking away wasn't just for you. You broke a pattern your bloodline couldn't. Who said, it stops with me. No more staying in toxic situations because that's just how it is. No more tolerating disrespect because that's just family. No more shrinking your dreams because we don't do that where I'm from. You broke generational witchcraft. The curses of low self-worth. The curses of settling. The curses of silence. You might not have a trophy for it, no applause, no parade, But somewhere down the line, a kid with your eyes, or your name, or your DNA is gonna grow up in a reality you bled for. That's one-man army work. You think it was just heartbreak, just a falling out, just some messy drama. No, you survived psychological warfare. You survived spiritual warfare. You survived emotional warfare. And now, the battlefield is quiet. You don't have to keep fighting them. They already lost when you stopped playing. Now the war shifts inward again. But this time, you're equipped. Now the mission is, build the life they said you'd never have. Become the version of you they tried to suffocate. Turn your solitude into power, not punishment. Invest your energy into people, projects, and places that actually pour back. They thought isolating you would kill you. They didn't realize isolation was your training ground. So here you are. You, the one they ganged up on. You, the one they tried to spiritually sabotage. You, the one they thought would fold when they all pulled back at the same time. Instead, you became something they never planned for. Self-sustaining. You learned to motivate yourself. You learned to pick yourself up. You learned to become your own backup, your own hype, your own safety net. You went from, nobody's there for me, to, I'm there for me, and that's enough to rebuild. A gang of witches can't beat that, because they can't take what you no longer outsource. You don't outsource your worth. You don't outsource your peace. You don't outsource your purpose. That's why they're shaking. You know what scared them the most? Not your success, not your glow-up, not your new life. What scared them the most was that you saw them clearly and chose yourself anyway. You saw the manipulation. You saw the envy. You saw the fake love. You saw the little rituals of control in every guilt trip, every joke, every side-eye. And you didn't beg. You didn't crumble. You didn't chase. You walked with your back straight, your heart cracked, but your soul awake. They're not just scared of what you've done. They're terrified of what you're about to do now that you finally understand who the hell you are. Because once you actually see yourself clearly, everything shifts, and that's the part that has their hands shaking and their voice cracking when your name comes up. You're not wandering around begging the world to tell you who you are anymore. You already know. You're the person who walked through emotional landmines, spiritual crossfire, mental breakdowns, fake love, real hate, silent attacks, loud disrespect. And instead of turning into a monster like them, you hardened up just enough to protect yourself and stayed human enough to still care. That balance right there is rare. There are people who went through half of what you went through and turned cold, turned bitter, turned heartless, turned into the very thing that hurt them. You didn't. You grew fangs, yeah. You grew armor, yeah. You built walls, yes, but you put doors in those walls, not prison bars. The witches wanted you to become like them, because if you turned dark in the same way, they could point and say, see? They're no better than us. You refused that storyline. You chose healing over hatred, boundaries over revenge, self-respect over public approval, and that decision broke their entire little ecosystem of control. They built an identity around being above you. They needed you beneath them to feel tall. They needed your confusion to feel wise. They needed your insecurity to feel powerful. You outgrew the role they wrote for you, character development they never planned for. You went from being the easy target to the one person they cannot predict anymore. And unpredictable people are terrifying to manipulators. They can't bribe you with fake love. They can't scare you with abandonment. They can't silence you with shame. You already lost so much you thought you'd die, and you didn't. What exactly can they threaten you with now? That freedom right there is nuclear, because when you stop being scared of losing them, you start being willing to lose every single thing that isn't aligned with your sanity, your purpose, your peace. You weren't built to be a follower in somebody else's cult of insecurity. You were built to lead yourself. And when a person starts leading themselves, they automatically start leading their life out of places they never belonged in. That's why your phone looks different now. Old names gone, old conversations archived, old patterns broken. That's why your days feel different. Less chaos, less anxiety, less of that sick feeling in your stomach before you open a message. Your nervous system is realizing it doesn't have to live in fight or flight over people who claim to love you. You know what happens when your nervous system finally gets some peace? Your mind unlocks. Ideas start coming back. Dreams you buried start resurfacing. Energy returns. Ambition wakes up. You start remembering things you wanted long before they told you. Be realistic. There were dreams you shrink-wrapped because you didn't want to make them uncomfortable. There were goals you hid because you didn't want to deal with their jealousy. There were talents you downplayed because you didn't want to show off. You weren't humble. You were scared of outgrowing your cage. The gang of witches loved that. They loved the version of you that second-guessed every step, that ran every idea by them, that needed constant reassurance, that kept asking, "Is this okay? Am I doing too much?" That version of you was easy to manage. Take a second and really look at this. You were easier to control when you were lost. The moment you started figuring yourself out, they stopped vibing with you. That's not an accident. That's exposure. They didn't actually love you. They loved the benefit of being needed by you. You stopped needing them. Suddenly there's a problem. You're not colder. You're clearer. You're not heartless. You're selective. You're not arrogant. You're finally walking like someone who survived the worst and still chose to believe there's more to life than pain. There's a version of your life waiting that your old circle never would have allowed you to touch. Not because you weren't capable, because your upgrade would have exposed their refusal to grow. Every time you tried to level up, the sabotage kicked in. You'd say, "I'm gonna change this about my life." And they'd drop some discouragement. You'd say, "I feel like I'm meant for more." And they'd hit you with sarcasm. You'd share a win, and they'd go quiet, or switch the topic, or immediately one-up you. That wasn't random. That was energy witchcraft in real time. They weren't just hating silently. They were casting word spells into your self-esteem. Don't get ahead of yourself. People like us don't do that. You're being dramatic. You're too emotional. You always make everything about you. Every phrase like that was a leash. You snapped every single leash they ever tried to tighten around your throat. My beautiful chaos chasers, my demons in disguise, my untouchable kings clawing through the mud. Welcome back. You know, it says a lot when they send a whole damn 185,000 just to slow one of you down. Let that number sit there and rot in your mind a little. 185,000, not to destroy you, not to finish you, not even to win, just to slow you down. They weren't even playing to win. They were just trying to delay the inevitable. And that's how you know. You're the fucking problem. You weren't supposed to get back up. You weren't supposed to still be standing. They saw the beatings you took, the betrayals, the silence, the years where no one clapped, no one noticed, no one gave a single shit that you were still breathing. They saw you fold in on yourself in the dark, bleeding out, screaming in silence. And they thought, "Ah, good. He's done. She's broken. That one won't rise again." And then you did. You didn't rise gently. You didn't walk out with grace and gratitude. No, you crawled out with rage. You came back with teeth bared, eyes glowing with vengeance, purpose hardened in hellfire. You didn't just survive, you evolved, and that's what scared the living hell out of them. See, weak people break, but the dangerous ones, they bend, they fracture, they scream, they shatter, but they never fucking vanish. They crawl through the glass. They stitch their skin back on with rusted wire. They rise with a new kind of silence, the kind that makes people nervous in a quiet room. You became that kind of silent threat. You became unreadable. So what did they do? They sent an army, a big, beautiful, 185,000-bodied fuck you in your direction. They didn't send that because you were weak. They sent it because they saw what you could become if they didn't. They saw what you were capable of if you were left uninterrupted. They saw the momentum building behind you, and they couldn't afford to let you reach full velocity. Do you get it yet? This wasn't an attack. This was fear dressed in numbers. This was desperation wrapped in uniform. This was anxiety in a 185,000 disguise. Because people only throw armies at a force they can't control. And that's what you are, aren't you? Uncontrollable. You don't take orders. You don't fold politely. You don't lower your volume to make others comfortable. You walk in carrying your scars like medals. You bring your pain into the room like it's ammunition. You don't ask for space. You carve it out with broken fingernails and refusal. Let me remind you of something dangerous. The most terrifying person on earth is the one who's been through everything you thought would kill them and came back without a leash. No master, no controller, no fucking god to bow to. Just them and the war inside them that keeps them moving. And that's who you are now. You're not just a survivor. You're the aftermath. You're what happens when a human being walks through hell so long they learn to love the heat. You don't fear fire anymore. You became it. You learn to burn slow and controlled. You learn to destroy precisely, methodically, intentionally. So when they threw a 185,000 army at you, they weren't trying to win. They were trying to stall you, to delay the carnage, to buy time, to pray you'd lose momentum before they ran out of ways to contain you. But they underestimated you again. They thought you were still human, still touchable, still bound by the same emotional chains that cripple them. But you're already dead to the parts of yourself they tried to kill. You don't cry the way you used to. You don't explain yourself anymore. You don't wait for the green light from cowards in the shadows. Now, you move, you hit, you scar the world just by existing. So let them send their armies. Let them send waves of noise, distraction, obstacles, betrayal, chaos. Let them pile the odds so high, the sky turns black with bodies. You walk anyway. You drag your rage like a blade behind you. You smile through broken teeth and say, "This all you got?" Because deep down, you know, they're not trying to beat you. They're just trying to survive you. You see, when they throw 185,000 at you, that's not just force. That's fear wearing armor. That's the system flinching because you woke up. They know you're not playing by their rules anymore. You stopped asking permission. You stopped giving explanations. You stopped shrinking to fit into their little picture frames. And that makes you a fucking nightmare. You don't belong in their neatly labeled boxes anymore. You're the crack in the structure. You're the glitch in their system. You're the cold realization that one man, one broken, bleeding, relentless soul can make 185,000 start trembling behind polished shields. Let that sink in. They didn't try to negotiate. They didn't try to reason. They didn't offer peace. Because they knew there's no peace with a storm once it learns to enjoy the destruction. And that's what you've become, isn't it? A storm that smiles, a hurricane with memory, a walking trauma that decided not to die quietly. Let me say it straight. You're the one who should have folded. You're the one who should have stayed down. You're the one who should have disappeared into that grave they tried to dig for you, with shame, silence, and failure. But instead, you sharpened your fucking bones in the dirt. You screamed into the soil until it remembered your name. You used your pain like fuel, like fire, like oxygen. And now, they have no clue what to do with you. You're too loud for their comfort, too smart to manipulate, too dangerous to ignore, too wounded to scare. So they throw 185,000 bodies at you like maybe you'll finally crack. But you won't, because you're not what you were before. You don't break now, you detonate. And the beautiful, poetic tragedy of it all. They still don't get it. They think the battle is physical. They think it's numbers, guns, walls, bans, gossip, pressure. They think if they throw enough external chaos at you, you'll fall apart inside. But they missed the part where your inside has been a war zone for years. You fought darker shit in your own mind at 2 a.m. than anything they could ever throw at you with boots and armor. You've sat in rooms where nobody clapped. You've told your story to walls and heard nothing back. You've rebuilt your entire existence alone, in silence, under pressure, with nobody to call, nobody to believe in you, nobody to even notice you were trying. So no, their little army doesn't scare you. If anything, you pity them, because 185,000 ain't enough. When someone already made peace with pain. When someone already died once, emotionally, spiritually, and came back with a grin. You are not a hero. You're the consequence, the backfire, the thing they didn't account for when they lit the match. You are what happens when you burn everything down and discover that you were the fire all along. And now you walk through crowds like a prophecy. You move with a silence so loud it deafens their doubt. You carry your scars like scripture, and every step you take feels like thunder, rumbling underneath a kingdom built on lies. They send an army, and you still keep walking. They throw chains, and you chew through them. They push and push and push, and now you start pushing back. You've played defense long enough. You've let them test your limits, question your worth, stack enemies on your name. But here's the truth they don't want to hear. You're not the hunted anymore. You're the storm coming for them. And you don't knock, you don't ask, you don't whisper your worth. You scream it through action, through resistance, through refusal to ever be tamed again. So let them send more. Let them raise the number from 185,000 to 500,000. Hell, let them bring the whole damn world. Because once a soul wakes up, once a person realizes they are the fucking weapon, You can send armies, bombs, plagues, curses, demons, doubts, and they'll still walk through it. And when they do, they won't be the same. The world won't be the same. You are the shift. You are the moment. You are the reckoning. And they'll remember you. Because nobody forgets the one man who made 185,000 look like a delay, not a defeat. You want to know what makes this really poetic? It's not the fact that they sent 185,000. It's not the panic. It's not the strategy. It's not even the sheer fucking desperation behind the numbers. No. It's the fact that they still think you're coming to win. They still think this is about victory. They still believe you're in this for applause, for praise, for some cheap, hollow congratulations at the end of the road. But what they don't understand, what they refuse to understand, is that you're not here to win. You're here to release something. You're here to unleash everything that was buried inside you, every scream that was swallowed, every betrayal that got tucked away like it didn't matter, every fucking no that should have been a yes, every ounce of rage that was caged so the world wouldn't be uncomfortable. You're not here to win. You're here to end something, to annihilate the old version of yourself that tolerated their shit, to burn every chain they ever put on your voice, to break every rule that was written to keep you small, afraid, obedient. This isn't about ego anymore. This is about release, about purging every ounce of self-betrayal, doubt, shame, and guilt they infected you with. This is about taking every time you bit your tongue, shrank in public, played nice when you were boiling inside, and turning that into a fucking detonation. So when they send their 185,000, it's not war, it's a cleansing. It's not you versus them, it's you versus everything inside you that ever accepted being less. You see, this isn't about enemies, it's about mirrors. They don't hate you because you're evil. They hate you because you make them look at themselves. You are the walking reflection of everything they failed to become. You are the living proof that the system is breakable, that people can wake up, that rage, when purified through pain, becomes purpose. And that's what terrifies them. You're no longer controllable. You don't fall for flattery. You don't tremble at threats. You don't get seduced by comfort. You're the one who says, burn it all. I'll walk through the ash. Let's get even more honest. You weren't born to play the hero. You weren't built for some noble scripted little redemption arc. No. You were carved out of agony, constructed in betrayal, molded by breakdowns that would have made lesser people disappear. You didn't just suffer, you adapted to it. You stopped crying for rescue. You learned to chew your own arm off just to crawl forward. You stopped looking for light at the end of the tunnel. You became the light, with teeth. And now you're here, and they're scrambling because nothing terrifies a system more than a soul that can't be bought, broken, or bribed. So yeah, let them send armies, let them gather numbers, let them mobilize every ounce of force they've got. You've been fighting longer than they've been watching. You've been bleeding longer than they've been breathing. And you've survived worse than anything they can build. Because here's the truth that'll rot their sanity. You're not fighting them anymore. You're fighting through them. You're pushing past the pain, the lies, the doubts, the shame. They're not obstacles. They're just ghosts of who you used to be. So don't slow down. Don't get polite. Don't get careful. Don't get soft just because you're finally starting to feel some air in your lungs. No. Now is the time to get loud. To move like the beast you had to become just to keep breathing. To say, fuck peace, if it means silencing your fire again. To say, fuck approval, if it means taming your rage. To say, fuck all of it, if it ever means going back to that place where you begged to be seen. Because the moment you start second-guessing your power, that's the moment the 185,000 army starts looking like it has a chance. But they don't. They never did. Because once you've been through enough hell, you don't fear armies. You become one. One man, one storm, one voice that refuses to kneel. And they'll learn, whether they like it or not. You don't need backup. You don't need support. You don't need an army behind you, because you already survived the war inside you. And anything that comes next is just cleanup. You know what the real punchline is? They thought the 185,000 would stop you, slow you down, break your rhythm, buy themselves time to breathe. But here you are, still standing, still moving, still dragging your legacy behind you like a coffin full of everything they tried to bury you with. And now? Now you're not running anymore. Now you're walking straight into the fire like it's your home address. And it is, isn't it? Because you didn't just survive the flames. You built your kingdom there. You hung your demons on the wall like trophies. You poured concrete over your wounds and wrote your name in the scars. You turned your triggers into tripwires for anybody stupid enough to test you again. Because now you're the one they pray doesn't wake up. Now you're the one they try to keep distracted, sedated, entertained, numb. Because they know. If you ever go full power, if you ever stop doubting, stop hesitating, stop dimming your brilliance to comfort the fragile, you will be the fucking extinction event. They don't fear your fists. They fear your clarity, your unapologetic self-belief, your bulletproof why. That nuclear engine of rage, betrayal, loneliness, hunger, and holy vengeance that no one can control once it's in motion. You think they fear your past? No. They fear your future. They see what happens if you stay focused, if you stay angry, if you stop looking for love in places that only offer leashes. They see it. They see the version of you that doesn't beg to be understood, that doesn't cry over the ones who left, that doesn't explain his vision to blind minds, that doesn't apologize for his volume anymore. They see the version of you who becomes legend, and that's why they come in armies, because deep down, they know the truth you're only just starting to taste. You don't need to be liked. You don't need to be welcomed. You don't need to be invited to their table. You are the fucking table. You are the storm at the gates. You are the siren in the dark, the unkillable spirit with fire in your lungs and revenge in your bloodstream. You are not chasing greatness. You are becoming a myth. So let them whisper. Let them strategize. Let them pray to every god they've got that you collapse under pressure. They still don't get it. You've lived under pressure so long. It's your natural atmosphere now. They're screaming in conditions you call calm. You don't panic anymore. You decide. You calculate. You smile. And then you fucking strike. And when you do, there won't be a body left that doesn't remember your name. There won't be a system left untouched by your shadow. There won't be a soul who ever doubts again. That one man, with enough pain, enough fire, enough rage, is more dangerous than 185,000 with perfect strategy. Because you are not a man anymore. You are the consequence, you are the price of betrayal. You are the cost of underestimation. You are the debt they owe. forever thinking you were just another name in the crowd. And you don't come to collect with mercy. You come with silence, with scars, with sleepless nights built into your DNA. You come like an ancient curse that wakes up after being buried for centuries, not angry, hungry, and the only thing that satisfies you now is watching every single wall they built to stop you fucking collapse. So yeah, they sent 185,000, and it still wasn't enough, because they were fighting a man, and you were fighting the memory of every time you hated yourself. You already won. You want to know what happens after they send the 185,000, after the dust settles, after the screams fade, after the last boot hits the ground and they realize you're still fucking breathing. They don't cheer, they don't regroup, they don't even speak. They just stare, empty, shattered, like a child watching their monster walk out of the closet in daylight, realizing it was never a dream, because they finally understand. You weren't fighting for survival. You were fighting to become something else. This wasn't about revenge. This wasn't about making them cry or crawl or run. This was about birth. The birth of the real you. The one who doesn't flinch anymore. The one who doesn't need permission to exist. The one who doesn't shrink for anyone's comfort. Because comfort is where you used to go to die. They sent 185,000 to slow you down, and instead they triggered your final form. Look at what you are now, not polished, not perfect, not pristine, but pure. Pure instinct, pure purpose, pure pain, refined into an unstoppable signal. Your existence is no longer a question, it's a statement. A sharp, loud, flaming declaration. I was never meant to obey. I was meant to rise. And let's talk about what they lost. Because yeah, they lost the fight. But they also lost the illusion. They lost the mask that made them feel in control. They lost the smug confidence that discipline and numbers could cage a soul that already survived hell. They lost their faith in their system because now they see you. And not the version they tried to make you into. Not the obedient puppet. Not the quiet talent. Not the pretty little tragedy they could pity and pat on the head. No. They see the original blueprint. The version of you that existed before the trauma, before the chains, before you ever gave a fuck about being understood. And you know what's wild? You didn't kill them with brutality. You killed them with clarity. You didn't scream. You didn't beg. You didn't explain your past, your pain, your struggle. You just kept moving. Through it all, through the noise, the doubt, the ambush, the sabotage, you moved like a man who already knew what he was made of. And they saw it. They saw the look in your eye, that dead calm, that subtle grin, that terrifying energy of someone who has nothing left to lose and everything left to prove. That's what broke them. Because what do you do when the enemy has already been through worse? What do you do when the fire doesn't burn him, it feeds him? What do you do when the one you tried to crush turns out to be the pressure itself? You collapse. You fold. You watch in silence as the thing you tried to bury becomes the very ground you now have to walk on. And it hurts, doesn't it? It hurts them to realize they didn't just fail to stop you. They made you inevitable. You didn't just walk through the battlefield. You rewrote what it means to fight.